the special meeting of the Board of Aldermen to order on Tuesday, February 21st, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the Aldermanic Chamber. The prayer will be offered by City Clerk Dan Healy, and Alderman Gouveia will lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Almighty God, we have the high honor and serious duty to manage the affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with a spirit of unity and understanding, which enables us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will always be for the betterment and the greater happiness of all our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance.
Alderman O'Brien.
Present.
Alderman Sullivan.
Here.
Alderman Clee. Alderman Moran.
Here.
Alderman Lopez.
Here.
Alderman Jettie.
Here.
Alderman Clemens.
Here.
Alderwoman Kelly.
Here.
Alderman Como.
Present.
Alderman Dowd.
Present.
Alderman Gouveia.
Here.
Alderman Karen. Alderman Tebow.
Here.
Alderwoman Timmons.
Here.
Alderman Wilshire.
Here.
13 present, 2 absent.
I did hear from Alderman Clee and Alderman Karen that they would not be available this evening. Also joining us this evening is Mayor Donches and Corporation Counsel Steve Bolton. Tonight's meeting is solely about the Mayor's State of the City address. I'm going to turn this over to the Mayor.
Good evening, President Wilshire and members of the Board of Aldermen, School Superintendent Andrade and members of the Board of Ed, Chief Rourke and members of the Police Commission, Fire Chief Buxton, members of the Fire Commission, Paul Patty of the Rail Commission, and all Nashwans. Now, tonight is the first time in 3 years that we've been together in person to reflect on the state of our city. We've been through a lot together over the past few years. COVID has affected our daily lives, our personal and our city budgets, and our local businesses. But I am proud of the way our community responded to the pandemic with decisive action to protect public health. Despite COVID, we've made significant strides for Nashua, and 2023 will be another year of progress for our city. By working together side by side with our citizens, with the Board of Aldermen, with our city team, with our community partners, we have achieved a measurable, meaningful track record of success. Nashua has been recognized as the 4th best run city in the United States. We have 2 AAA bond ratings. Money Magazine has consistently ranked Nashua as one of the best places to live in America. And Nashua has been identified as the 2nd safest city in the United States. 4th best run city in America. This distinction is due to the high quality of our services and the lower cost per person of our city government. It says that Nashua city government is effective and efficient. Now, many have contributed to this honor. First, our city team who work hard every day to serve the citizens of Nashua. Our teachers, police, firefighters, city hall employees, my staff, public health nurses, cafeteria workers, and the public works employees who pick up our garbage, plow our streets, and fix potholes. I want to personally thank each one of you for your hard work in serving the people of Nashua. Now, the Board of Aldermen also deserves a lot of credit. Each member of the board is focused on trying to deliver high-quality services at as low a cost as possible. We have 2 AAA bond ratings from S&P and Fitch. Nashua City government has built a well-earned reputation for strong financial management. Thank you to John Griffin, our CFO treasurer, and his team, to our budget team, and to the Board of Aldermen for being willing to make some hard decisions. Over the past year, we have over the past few years, we have redesigned the city health care plan so that we are saving $3.9 million per year on that plan. We have adopted a smart energy policy, which is saving us more than $1.6 million per year in electricity costs. But we will do more to save money for Nashuans. Starting soon, Nashua Community Power will lower electric rates for all current Eversource customers in Nashua by buying power at a lower price than Eversource's current 20.6 cents per kilowatt. Community Power was authorized by the state legislature a few years ago. And as a result of this legislation, Energy Manager Doria Brown has been working with 16 other cities and towns as part of the New Hampshire Community Power Coalition. Our aggregation committee, consisting of Larry Lutton, Frank Tees, Adrian George, and President Wilshire, studied and recommended this approach. Now, if you look at your electric bill, and I brought ours with me, it is made up of a number of charges. One of those charges is called the energy charge. This charge amounts to about 2/3 of a typical residential bill at the current Eversource rates. This is where Nashua Community Power will save for Nashua consumers. After Nashua Community Power kicks in, Eversource will continue to bill all current customers, and you will still pay Eversource for distribution and the other charges on the bill. But Nashua Community Power will save you on the cost of electricity. And if you ever wish to return to Eversource, you will have the freedom to do so. Second safest city in the country. This distinction is due to the efforts of many people. Our police and fire departments, Chief Kevin Rourke and Chief Steve Buxton, do a great job in keeping Nashua safe. Our priority is to make Nashua even safer. To do so, we need to give our police and fire departments the tools they need. 2 years ago, we added body cameras for the police department. Chief Rourke, who led this effort as deputy chief, tells us that body cameras have increased safety for our officers. This past fall, we budgeted 2 more police officers so that the fully authorized force is 179. We have done needed renovations at the Nashua Police Department headquarters. Now we are working with the Nashua PD and our Public Health Department on another idea that the PD has brought forward: the possibility of providing mental health workers to help our police officers on the calls they select. Like other police forces, the Nashua Police Department is having a hard time filling all of its open positions. Without lowering its high standards, the department is taking new steps to fill the ranks. Steps such as hiring certified officers from smaller departments. And it is vital to attracting new recruits that Nashua police officers are the best paid in New Hampshire. For the fire department, we are using ARPA funds to replace the obsolete and broken Opticom system to enable our firefighters to better control traffic signals at intersections when fire trucks speed to emergency calls. This new system will increase safety for firefighters and for motorists alike. In addition, we are adding a new in-station alert system, which will more effectively communicate with firefighters in each of our stations regarding emergencies. A big component of our second safest city ranking is the COVID response led by Bobby Bagley, Kim Bernard, and others from Nashua Public Health. But the distinction of being second safest city is also due to the character of our fellow Nashuans. For example, in Nashua, we are blessed to have the second lowest per capita rate of personal assaults out of 182 cities. In recent years, we have also dramatically strengthened our infrastructure. Under the leadership of Public Works Director Lisa Foto, our paving plan of action has paved over 100 miles of streets. We have rebuilt miles of our sewer infrastructure and upgraded our sewage treatment plant. The progress we have made downtown is another source of pride for Nashua. My talks with mayors across New Hampshire and across the country tell me that every city is focused on its downtown. The health of any downtown tells a lot about the health of that city. Across the country, downtowns are evolving from centers of daytime office work to neighborhoods where people make their homes, with restaurants, entertainment, and retail stores close by. The national trend has been accelerated by COVID and the rise of Zoom as more people are working from home. Well, Nashua's downtown is evolving as well. Our vision is for more downtown housing, a lively center for the arts, thriving and successful restaurants, and engaging, inviting retail storefronts, a pedestrian-centered hub where people from all over Nashua and our region want to go. A major step forward is the new housing that is going up on School Street. This project needed $30 to $40 million of private capital, and it is the first time the private sector has invested in building new downtown housing on this scale in more than a century. And this spring, the iconic former home of the Indian Head Bank on Main Street will reopen as 22 new apartment units. The Nashua Housing and Redevelopment Authority is completing the new Monahan Manor on Central Street. Monahan Manor, to be open for residents later this year, will add more than 200 units of desperately needed affordable housing. Incidentally, Monahan Manor is named after Tom Monahan, who spearheaded the project as a long-term member of the Nashua Housing and Redevelopment Authority. The Nashua Center for the Arts on Main Street is scheduling performances beginning in April. The Center for the Arts, a public-private partnership, will attract tens of thousands of people to Main Street and will attract more needed private investment like the School Street housing. I want to thank Rich Lannon and Deb Novotny for raising millions of dollars in private funds and for overseeing this project. Thank you to Philip Sconsis for successfully attracting a $1 million gift from a very generous anonymous donor. And I want to thank Mary Lou Blaisdell for her decades-long dedication to the improvement of Nashua's downtown. Making a destination of the Nashua Riverfront is an important part of our vision. We expect to begin work on our riverfront project this year. The improvements will include 3 more suspended walkways at the Main Street Bridge, a renewed Renaissance Park, lighted river walks, docks, and landscaping. While we're on parks, parks are important to people because they provide an opportunity for relaxation, contemplation, and recreation. Thank you to Senator Jean Shaheen and Congresswoman Annie Custer, who were successful in getting us a $3 million grant to build a new park between the Nashua Public Library and the city's Court Street building. Work on this exciting project should begin this year. We are improving Atherton Park with 2 new soccer fields. which will benefit the thousands of kids who play soccer. We are adding a new playground to St. Andrews Park in the South End. And we are replacing the lights for the softball field at Levine Park. Now this is Black History Month. In May, we will celebrate the addition of historic Holman Stadium, where Roy Campanella and Don Newcomb played, as a stop on the New Hampshire Black Heritage Trail. Now, a major challenge for the city and our homeowners was the state-mandated, state-regulated, and state-supervised revaluation. If the city had been given a choice, we would not have done a revaluation last fall. State-approved Vision Government Solutions, a revaluation firm, did the work. Unfortunately, the revaluation pushed up property taxes for our homeowners. Home prices in Nashua and across the country have escalated dramatically over the last few years. The value of Nashua's homes grew 41% on average since the last revaluation. At the same time, the values of commercial properties and business properties, malls, office buildings, and industrial space did not increase very much. For example, the value of Pheasant Lane Mall, Nashua's biggest single taxpayer, went down $20 million, or almost 15%. And the owner is actually claiming that the value went down $50 million, or about 1/3. Now, a revaluation does not collect more in taxes. Instead, it reallocates taxes among property owners. State law says that property taxes must be allocated based upon the assessed values of all properties within the city. Because of the large increase in home values, homes now make up a bigger share of the total value of all properties in Nashua, and this means that homes pay a higher percentage or share of total taxes. The revaluation and the higher taxes it brought has caused a hardship for many homeowners, especially those on fixed incomes. In order to help, we are increasing the elderly exemption, which is already the best in New Hampshire. Affordable housing is a major challenge for our community, and city government is taking aggressive steps to meet this challenge. Homeowners are aware of the rapid escalation in home prices. According to Redfin, the average sale price of Nashua homes in December was $405,000, up over 60% in 5 years. Rents have escalated as well. Average rents are nearly $2,000 a month. The vacancy rate for apartments is around 1%. This housing shortage is affecting people throughout the country. A housing crunch already existed before COVID. The pandemic and the lifestyle choices of the millennial generation have increased the pressure on housing because of the many people who now work from home. In order to increase the supply of affordable housing, Nashua City Government has created an affordable housing trust fund to stimulate the development of more affordable apartments and homes for sale. To help direct the city's efforts, we have formed a Nashua Citizen Advisory Committee to create the policy as to how these trust funds should be used. We added $10 million of ARPA funds, federal funds, we received from the federal government to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. We passed an inclusionary zoning ordinance, which requires that a percentage of new units be less than market in rent or in price. As part of the Mohawk Tannery, the proposed Mohawk Tannery cleanup, which I will discuss shortly, we are requiring that 20% of apartments be affordable and that the developer contribute $2.3 million to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. We worked with NeighborWorks, a very reputable nonprofit, to plan 46 units of affordable housing at 229 Main Street. the site of a blighted parking lot that has been an eyesore for too long. And we worked with the Nashua Housing and Redevelopment Authority to build Monahan Manor with 210 units of affordable housing. Homelessness in Nashua and across New Hampshire is a related problem, which will be a challenge for the coming year and beyond. Nashua Soup Kitchen and Shelter, under the leadership of Michael Renke, has done a great job in raising the funds to build the new homeless shelter on Spring Street with over 90 beds, doubling its capacity to provide shelter for individuals and families who need it. The shelter includes dormitories for single men and women, flexible space for families, and single units for long-term homeless individuals. New Hampshire's mayors have formed the Mayor's Homelessness Working Group to provide guidance to cities and to the state of New Hampshire. But New Hampshire's mayors have concerns. Where is the state? And why, with all the money available at the state level, has the state not stepped in to help our cities? The mayors together observed that, quote, there have been numerous examples of public officials in rural and suburban areas transporting or directing persons experiencing homelessness to our cities. Twice we've written to the governor, and after the second letter, there was a follow-up meeting with state officials. The state says that it is putting forth more funds to help with statewide homelessness. But with $400 million of state surplus and billions of dollars in federal money, the mayors ask and believe that New Hampshire, we do not believe that the state is doing enough. Our schools are critical to our city's future. Our young people and our families with school-aged children need and deserve an excellent education for every child in every school every day. Our priority, and my priority, is to prepare our kids for college, career, and meaningful lives. We are completing a major middle school upgrade led by Alderman Rick Dowd and the Joint Special School Building Committee. Each of our 3 middle schools will be solar powered and will have 21st century technology. Fairgrounds was our first renovation. And when Rick and I visited the school last fall, teachers and staff were amazed with the improvements in the school environment. The Pennachuck renovation will be done this coming fall. And the construction of the new Brian McCarthy Middle School in the southwest of the city will be ready for our kids in the fall of 2024. This new school is a fitting tribute to Brian and his long legacy of service to Nashua and his dedication to our schools. Also, using $16 million in federal ESSER funds, matched with local dollars, the school department and the city will renovate 2 of our two remaining open classroom elementary schools, Birch Hill and Maine Dunstable. Our teachers have shown commitment and dedication to our students and families during a very difficult period. We're in the middle of a teacher's contract, which will help us retain the quality teachers we have, especially in those in mid-career, after the city has helped train them. Middle career teachers we were losing to other districts such as Amherst and Hollis Brookline. Now, New Hampshire state school aid, as a percentage of total school spending, is the lowest, actually 50th, out of all of the 50 states across the country. At $3,800 per student, basic state school aid is far below the actual per student cost of $19,400 per student per year across New Hampshire cities and towns. There are proposals at the state level made by the governor to increase state support for New Hampshire schools. The New Hampshire legislature needs to do more to help communities pay the real costs of an excellent education for each child, and to make sure that our public schools have the resources they need. After 39 years, we are on the way to cleaning up the polluted Mohawk Tannery and the Fimble Door sites along the Nashua River. We presented the conceptual plan on January 10th. The reactions of aldermen and residents of Little Florida seem favorable. Last week, we introduced much of the legislation needed to okay the cleanup. From 1924 to 1984, Mohawk Tannery tanned rawhides and made them into leather. The process caused noxious odors to infect surrounding neighborhoods. Little Florida, Intervale Street, even further into the North End and out Broad Street. These powerful odors were especially strong in the summer, when the smell prevented residents from opening windows or enjoying backyard barbecues or other outdoor activities. During its operations, the tannery deposited sludge containing hazardous substances into the open, unlined pits they called lagoons. These lagoons have existed on the site since the tannery shut down, and they have prevented any use of the site. The tannery site is on the EPA's national priorities list because of the long-standing and serious pollution that has been there since the tannery closed. Now, the city has successfully negotiated with the federal EPA, New Hampshire DES, and private developers to come up with an approach to the cleanup. The EPA has agreed to contribute $6 million towards a solution approved by environmental experts. This is a solution that the EPA has successfully used at other places where similar pollution existed. The sludge from the lagoons and some asbestos which is also on the site, will be consolidated into one place. A containment structure will be built below ground to hold these materials in place, and the structure will be covered with an impermeable cap. All you will see above ground will be a grassy field. Blaylock Holdings will build, over a period of years, 536 units of housing, 230 apartments, and 316 condominiums on about 40 acres. 20% of the apartments will be affordable. Blaylock will also make a $2.3 million contribution to the city's Affordable Housing Trust Fund. 10 acres of the site will be given to the city for open space and recreation. This parcel is across the Nashua River from Mine Falls Park. A future dream is that a pedestrian bridge could be built connecting this new parcel to Mine Falls. We estimate that the development, when completed, will pay $2 million in property taxes per year for the city and our taxpayers. In addition to the $6 million that the EPA will contribute to the cleanup, private developer Blaylock has agreed to contribute $3.8 million. I want to thank city staff, particularly Tim Cummings, Matt Sullivan, and Celia Leonard, who worked so hard to negotiate this imaginative solution to a long-standing environmental problem. Also, I want to thank the EPA for agreeing to contribute $6 million to the cleanup. Thank you to Blaylock and developer Bernie Plant, who worked with us to make the cleanup possible. And thank you to Sandy Belknap for her long-term citizen advocacy for the Little Florida neighborhood. In January, the State Executive Council dealt the city's and the state's economies a significant blow when it stopped the near-completed final planning phase of the Capitol Corridor Rail project. The state DOT, using entirely federal money, was developing a plan to bring passenger rail to Nashua and Manchester. The project would strengthen our connection with the burgeoning Boston economy and would bring new jobs and new tax revenue to New Hampshire. There is currently an unprecedented amount of federal money available for rail projects. States and cities across the country are seeking to expand rail service with bipartisan support. There are proposed projects in Maine, Virginia, Texas, Illinois, and elsewhere. It is mind-boggling that here in New Hampshire, 3 people on the Executive Council, including David Wheeler, the counselor for Nashua, would lead the charge to stop the development of a final plan to expand passenger rail. Now, we are working with the City of Manchester to see if there is a more local approach to completing the final planning and possibly bringing passenger rail service to Nashua and New Hampshire. Rivier University. Rivier University is thriving with their new science and innovation building, the renovated Sylvia Trottier Nursing Center, and a newly designed campus. Rivier President, Sister Paula Marie Booley, and the other leadership at the university are attracting students from our region and even from around the world. The city is looking for new ways of working with Rivier for the benefit of the university and the city. So we can transform the site of the Elm Street Middle School, which will no longer be used by the school department once the McCarthy Middle School opens, with new uses which will benefit the neighborhood, the city, and Rivier. We have held public input sessions to take the pulse of Nashvans, and we have talked with Rivier University regarding their needs. On that site, we can build housing, and on a portion of the site, Edge Sports, a private business working with Rivier, can build and operate 2 ice rinks, which will enable the university to realize its goal of a full-fledged varsity hockey program with a home rink for both their men's and women's teams. Finally, we are exploring all funding sources to determine how to save the Keith Auditorium. We have ambitious green goals to make our contribution to combating climate change. We are seeking to reduce the city's carbon footprint 25% by the year 2025 with more efficient vehicles and more efficient buildings. Well, we are well on the way to achieving this goal. We have reduced the energy consumption and the carbon emissions of our public works and national transit vehicles by 40%, with CNG-fueled garbage trucks and with hybrid buses. We have incorporated solar arrays on the Fairgrounds Middle School, the Dr. Crisp Elementary School, the Lake Street Fire Station, as well as the transit garage. We're buying an electric animal control vehicle and electric hybrid police cruisers. We're looking to expand the number of charging stations for electric vehicles in our parking garages. And as part of Nashua Community Power, we will offer every Nashuan the choice of paying for up to 100% green power for their needs. So the state of our city is optimistic, energetic, and moving forward. I am excited about the future with our family-oriented quality of life, with our strong economy, with new housing, and an unprecedented amount of private investment in our downtown, with our improving infrastructure, with all of our school improvements, including the brand new Brian McCarthy Middle School, with a new Nashua Center for the Arts and a new green space in Library Plaza, a new riverfront in the coming year, and most importantly, with the character of our people. I look forward to working with each of you to build together an even better Nashua. So God bless the great city of Nashua. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to make a motion that the February 21st, 2023 meeting of the Board of Aldermen be adjourned.
Motion is to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 7:35 PM. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, everyone, for coming tonight.